Hey guys, my name is Rachel Seasholtz, and this is my introduction for our class for the summer. So currently I'm a student finishing up my master's in math education as well as my undergraduate degrees in mathematics and mathematics education, To the left you see I'm in my graduation regalia because I've gone through all of the different ceremonies for this, but I'm finishing up my last 2 or 3 classes over the summer, and that's why I'm here. But because of this, I haven't had a real teaching experience within my own classroom, but I look forward to the insights that everybody has to bring, especially because of where I'm teaching next year and what I'll be teaching, as well as in the community that I will be. So next year, I do have a job at Decatur High School, and this is in Decatur, Georgia, so it's just inside the perimeter, and I will be teaching pre-calculus and algebra 1 there, and I'm really looking forward to it. It was my top choice of school, and I managed to get it somehow, and I'm very thankful for that because it has the great diversity that I wanted, as well as a great just support system. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to learning in this class about what I can apply in my classroom next year. So I look forward to that. So an interesting personal professional insight about me. So as I said, I'm finishing up with 3 degrees, and I've done these 3 degrees over the last 4 years. So I came in as a freshman and decided to put in my extra master's degree coming in. But because I've had such an affinity for mathematics education and education as a whole, I've really focused my research that I've done a lot on diversity, equity, and social justice issues within education as a whole, but a primary focus in the mathematics classroom. So for me, this class was very, very interesting. I was really, really enticed when I got the option to take it, and I look forward to seeing what I can learn from this class to incorporate with my mathematics skills, as well as the research and other experiences that I've had so far. So that's just something that you guys should probably know about me. So a memorable diversity and equity issue. So at the end of the mathematics education undergraduate program, we have a poster session, which basically presents our research that we've done over the past semester on a certain topic that we've chosen. As I mentioned, I have done most of my research on social justice and equity issues, so I focused my poster session and my research on urban education as well as teaching for social justice. And it was very memorable for me because most of my other counterparts, and again, this is how it is much throughout the mathematics community, talked about testing issues or, say, standards issues or things of that nature, where it's more about the content rather than about the applications of what we can do and other things that come inside of our classroom beyond just, here, we're in a math classroom. And I was one of the very few people who have decided to go with more of a social issue rather than a content issue when I did this. And for the mathematics education community, especially here at UGA, we are known for producing some of the best teachers. And because we do that, we have really great teachers content-wise, but a lot of the times we see that our teachers go to the best of the best school districts who do really well on test scores and have so many things available to them and are very, very not diverse. And for me, I've always taken upon myself to try and go for what I think more of this world needs, and that's the best teachers in the areas that don't get the best teachers. So when I focused in on urban education, that's what I got to. So in conclusion, the memorable aspect of this was basically when my professor came around and asked me, why does this matter and why should we as mathematics education at UGA take more of a interest in this as a whole? And I gave him what he said was the best answer he's heard in 2 years, I'm pretty sure is what he said, which was to anybody's question. So he goes around and asks lots of people questions, but he asked me this one. He's like, why does it matter? Why should we as a whole focus to something that we typically don't focus on? And I said something that I think is pretty astute, pretty just impactful, and I just said that I think that our education department is as a whole, not just mathematics education, is one of the best in the entire country. And because of that, we need to focus on areas that don't just teach to our students in a way that, here it's just about math, or it's just about English, or it's just about Spanish, or it's just about history. But we need to know how to teach that subject towards the students that walk into our doors. And also, when we have some of the best teachers, we don't need to go to the best of the best schools. And more, when we want to improve, we want to see that our best teachers go to some other schools that they typically wouldn't go to. And I think a lot of the time that's our most diverse schools. And I think a lot of the time that they're underserved. And it's not because the students aren't capable or aren't amazing and aren't intelligent enough. It's just simply because we haven't been taught how to reach these students. So that's probably one of my favorite memories. My favorite aspect, again, I think it's pretty straightforward from what I've said, is that we teach things and learn things in the classroom that become more valuable to our students. So beyond just for myself, math, but we teach students how to be people and how to deal with the world that's around them by understanding that students are more than just a math student. They're a person who comes in, who has a whole life outside of the classroom, and utilizing those things and learning from each other, I think, is probably my favorite thing about engaging in these conversations and talking about them and utilizing them in our classroom as a tool rather than as something that should be completely avoided. I think it's something that we should do more because it's there and we have a lot more to learn from each other than we think. And my least favorite aspect, I think, is probably what a lot of people have been saying, is like, for me, it's a lack of items in the mathematics community. As I mentioned, there's not much there. Not much. There are some things, but there's a bigger focus on content and addressing all standards as well as hitting everything. But there's a lack of direct items that talk about these issues, and also it sometimes can be a touchy subject for a lot of people to talk about. But I think that's my least favorite aspect, because I think more and more we need to talk about it rather than shy away from it. And especially because we can, as I said, learn so much from each other. But I've probably rambled on enough, and I'm sorry for taking your time for listening to all of this. But I hope you get to know a little bit more about me, and I look forward to hearing from the rest of y'all. Have a good rest of your week.